Yo, what's up everyone? How you all doing? In this video, I want to talk about how your mind literally fucks with you, ruins your life, ruins your day, ruins your mission, gets in the way of you actually achieving your goals and dreams. How it comes in the way of overthinking, overanalyzing, perfectionism, or just paralysis, or any of those sort of things that just basically makes you not take action on your dreams, on your goal, on your vision. And my goal with this video is to actually have you succeed. So this is why I'm making this. And so look, I've been struggling with an overactive mind all of my life, okay? I'm very analytical, I'm very good at maths, very good at science. I have the highest grades in maths and chemistry and all these kind of sciences in school. In university, I always scored 99, 98, 97 out of 100 for these exams. So I know how to analyze, I know how to perform those calculus. But the thing with life is, unfortunately, you can't, with the brain, and really nothing else, analyze life. Although it feels like it's possible to calculate the best possible life, the best possible life situation, the best possible lifestyle, unfortunately, it doesn't really work this way. Although we think we can compute it, it just doesn't work like that because we base those things on emotions. We are still emotional beings, even though we're highly analytical. We're still very highly emotional, but we're not acknowledging it. And so the reason you live life is to get emotions. And so you can't solve that with the analytical thinking. We think that because we can solve our financial problems, transportation problem, logistical problem, all of these things, we can figure out what's the best mortgage to get, which is the best area to buy a house in, the best car to buy, the best country to live in, the best job to have. We think that because we can calculate those things which are inside life, that we can calculate life itself. And that's where we get into trouble. And that's where we get into trouble because really, the reason we live life is to have life experience. We want to experience life. We want to have a variety of different experiences, both good and bad. Because you don't grow without discomfort. You need to put yourself or end up in uncomfortable situations for you to grow. And this is what happens to a lot of people. Sometimes it comes in too late and they complain. People who've been in one job for 30, 40 years suddenly lose their job and now they complain. They're a victim. Oh, I've been treated unfairly. You know, they let me go from the job. Nobody was supposed to keep you hired anyway. Like, nobody is obliged in the universe for anything for you. You gotta stay sharp. But because people allow themselves to get so comfortable and relaxed, so I had this job for 40 years, stable paycheck coming in, they become so complacent. Suddenly when it's gone, they're like, oh shit. That's actually their karma catching up with them because they need to get on the next level of performance, right, before they die. So quite often this is why these things happen. So you're thinking about how to live life, where to be, how to, where to go out, what kind of people to meet, what kind of girlfriend to get, what kind of people to date, what kind of job to have, all of these things. You have a lot of options and you're always overthinking and analyzing how to do them. Shall I try this? Shall I do that? A lot of the time we think that trying something is like a commitment, Obviously, if you want to get great at YouTube, get great at software engineering, get great at singing, there has to be some commitment. But for you to get the initial results, you don't actually spend so much time on it. So you need to allow yourself space to make mistakes. Space to make mistakes at your job, at your business. Space to make mistakes in your relationships, in your private life, in your social life. Space to make mistakes in process of making new friends. Space to make mistakes in process of recording videos. You need to give yourself space to fuck things up. And sometimes even for some people who are very strong-minded, and I had to go through this at some point, is you have to fuck things up on purpose. You have to mess things up on purpose. When you do things badly on purpose, the fear of it going wrong at least becomes weaker, but in most cases dissipates, and then you have freedom to actually act and be yourself and be authentic and create from that heart space rather than freeze up and feel like you have to perform in a certain way, which, even being on camera is some sort of performance, but it's an authentic performance because it's connected to my values that I live daily. I live like this daily, right? I'm dropping that perfectionism, right? I'm just gonna say a simple example. I've been traveling a lot for the last few months. Like, I've been traveling a lot for the last 3 years, but I've been traveling extra for about 4 months, right? And I probably stayed in one hotel for between 1 and 3 days. So always be on the lookout for the next one, next one, next one. Where shall I go? Which city? Which part of town? Different location. Shall I fly? Shall I take the train? Shall I bus? I can't, there are no trains going there. Where do I get a taxi? Blah, blah, blah. Traveling through China, so difficult, right? Not speaking Chinese. Everything's different, right? Traveling through Indonesia, Thailand, a little bit easier, but still need a bit of a level. And so traveling through US, the same thing, right? A little easier, everyone speaks English, but still, right? Fresh, everything new, 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 new. Always need to make a decision and faster. I found myself sitting, looking at hotels for hours, not being able to choose one because this one is a little bit better, this one is a little bit cheaper, this one is better location, this one has a pool, this one is ground floor, which I love to be on the ground floor, this one has a big like a communal space. And so all these things, and it's almost like hard to find something that's perfect, that's in the perfect location and free, right? So there's always some sort of trade-off. Well, sometimes just the speed of decision is more important. You just gotta make those decisions fast and go, and allow yourself to learn from, okay, actually, this is a non-negotiable, this is a non-negotiable, this is a non-negotiable, and like that, and like that, and like that. The reason you're not moving fast enough in life is because you're stuck in that kind of place. Just allow yourself to go and fuck up. Waste some money, waste some time, waste some resources, maybe make some people upset. It's okay. You're learning life. The best way for you to be nice is to bury yourself into the ground and never speak to anyone. This way you're not breathing any oxygen, you're not consuming any food, you're not stealing anyone's job, you're not stealing with anyone's girlfriend, okay? Is that the way you want to be living? No. Well, if you're not doing that, then you might as well live fully. And if that involves sometimes hurting some people, upsetting some people, taking something from someone, because when you're good at your job, you're taking resources from somebody who's bad at their job. When you're great at your business, you're taking clients from somebody who's bad at their business. You're taking things from other people in some way that not directly stealing, right? It's not theft. It's natural selection, but it is still some sort of way of pushing. That's just the way the world is. Bigger animal eats the smaller ones, or bigger one from the pack gets to have the first bite, whatever it is, right? So these are some of the things we have to accept and just roll with it and just go with it and just take action and live your best life. This is the best thing you can do for the world, is live your best life. Be an inspiration for your friends, for your family, for your children, for anyone else you care about. Being an inspiration for them. And if you're triggering them right now, like for example, a lot of us trigger our parents, because our parents been, a lot of them, indoctrinated into a system where they grew up in a school which is like a factory for brainless workers, who then are taught to raise their hand and speak, who they're put in factories to just do manual repetitive labor, right? And everything else around that is just designed so that those people don't go too crazy. That's why you have some psychiatrists and psychologists, you have entertainment, shopping malls, cinema, and alcohol and cigarettes. So this is all there to kind of help farmed people, like people who are like farm animals, farm people, not farmers, people who are like cattle people. This is all designed to help cattle people not to go crazy. And then but human is not truly a cattle person. There's a divine spark in everyone. It's just sometimes dimmer or brighter in other people. Some people it's blasting on full power, and some it's very, very, very dim. But when you're trying to let it ignite even further, you're triggering that other person, and he's getting angry and projecting that anger towards you. And that's quite often your parents. They're gonna stop you from living your true life more often than not, on average. All right, on average. There are some great parents out there, but most parents will try to stop them and tell them who to be, and not allow them to shine fully, not allow them to take risks, not allow them to fuck up their life, right? Because how many homeless guitar players you have in on the street begging for money, or even worse, on Skid Row in Los Angeles begging for fentanyl or whatever? How many people like that you have versus people who became famous rock stars? And funny enough, they kind of live the same lifestyle. Just one is on the street getting high, and another one's in the mansion getting high, right? So make it what you wish, what you will. But this is life, right? And this is life. And so just allow yourself to live that full life. So you're fully immersed in it. You're not living quarter life or half life, right? You're fully embracing it. You're allowing yourself to make mistakes. You're fucking up, but you're moving with speed, and speed, right? And that certainty will come with that speed of execution. You will know that you know how to correct mistakes. You know how to get yourself out of uncomfortable situations, right? When you know you can rely on yourself truly, and that's only by testing yourself, right? So you gotta start taking those imperfect actions, right? This is for those times when you're being paralyzed, right? If you're somebody who can just map out a whole project on paper or software or whatever and then execute it perfectly, is great. But I'm sure that even for those people, there are other areas in their life that they just cannot do that. Quite often it's personal relationships, dating lives, maybe business or some sort of dreams of traveling or stuff like that. So make it easy for yourself and start today. This is an actionable step for you. Take that one thing that you've been really, really wanting to take action on. There's the one thing, and think of the smallest possible step you can take towards that goal. If it's writing a movie, why don't you just write the first line, or just describe the character, or just write one scene from that movie? It doesn't have to be the beginning. Maybe you're thinking of a perfect beginning. Don't worry about the beginning, just because if you're thinking about a movie, you probably have some scenes already in your head. Just write them out. Right? If it's recording a video, just record a video. Don't show it to anyone. If it's improving some aspect of your life, maybe take the smallest step possible in executing it, or telling that to somebody. Because when you share something to somebody, quite often it weighs a lot less on you. When you share things with your friends, with people who are close to you, quite often the paralysis that it brings can diminish, because more people are connected to your vision, more real it becomes. To have something truly massive, a lot of people need to be thinking about it. Think of all the big companies, right? Amazon, Tesla, Apple, Microsoft. None of these companies would exist if only one person, the founder, would think about it. He got other people involved, investors, employees, customers. So people are now thinking about these companies. People are thinking about Apple. People are thinking about Microsoft. People are thinking about Tesla. People are thinking about car companies. People are thinking about countries. Idea must be sustained by thought, not only your own, but other people. And so the way to ease manifestation of that into the real world, and the way to create yourself as a different person, is by sharing that idea with other people. Maybe you've never done comedy. You can write your first gig, but that's not going to make it easier for you to actually go and perform on stage. Maybe you just want to tell about it to a friend. And once you tell it, to 2 to 3 to 5 people, there might be enough to say, hey, you know what, man? We really want to support you. We're going to come to your first gig. And now you already have an audience, at least for the first one. And once the first one is out of the way, it's a whole different game. So this is my wish for you, is you start taking action, even the smallest tiny steps today, right now, after finishing this video, so you can ramp up the speed that your dream life is going to manifest for you. Have a beautiful day.